start working on the account page view. Okay, so the first thing what we need to do, so if I go to this page, right, so here we are going to have some kind of banner image, and then we'll be having two sections. One will be to display all the orders for the particular user, and then there will be address page where a user will be able to add the address. Now when we'll go to checkout, right, so address has to be mandatory, so that is the reason we are completing this module first. Now I'm going to close everything else and let's go to our model, because we are going to first, as usual, complete the backend first. So inside models I'm going to create, so models, here I'm going to create address.js. okay, so now let's import mongoose first. This will be require mongoose, and here I'm going to create, so we'll do address. Now from this point, right, creating this address controllers, I'm going to do little more faster, or else it will be difficult to complete other functionalities that we are going to do. So we'll do new mongoose.schema. So here we need the user ID, that which user is adding that address. We need the address of that user, right, so which will also be string. Then we need a city. Now again, it's up to you, you can modify these fields whatever you like to do, and this will be string in code. Then phone number also can be, we'll keep this one as string only, and then we are going to keep some additional notes that user can add, which will be string. Okay, and here I'm going to pass, so timestamp I'm going to make this one as 2. Now I'm going to do module.exports. This will be mongoose.model, and I'm going to give this one name as address, and then I'm going to pass the address schema that we've created. Alright, so this is pretty simple. So now we will start creating our controllers. So we'll go to SOAP, and inside SOAP I'm going to create address controllers. Controllers.js. Let's make this one controller. Alright, so first we need 4, so we'll have add address, so which will be async, request response. So here we're going to take try, catch. So here let's log the error first, and then we are going to return a 500. okay, so we'll do 500.json as usual, that we have done multiple times. So that is the reason I'm keeping the structure also same, so that you all can basically use the same structure and it will be easy to understand. So let's copy this and paste it 4 times. Right, so we have fetch all address, right, then we have edit address, and then we'll be having a delete address, because we need basically these 4. And then we are going to do module.exports. So we'll do add address, then we'll do edit address, then we'll have fetch all address, and then we'll be having the delete address 4. Alright, now let's go to our routes, and inside SOAP I'm going to create address routes.js. So first thing what we need, so we need the express, correct? So we'll do express require express, and also we need to import all our controllers. So we'll do require so we'll go to controllers, SOAP, and then address controller. So we need add, then we need fetch all address, we need edit address, and also we need the delete address. Now we are going to create our route. So we'll do router, which will be our express dot router, which will create all the routes, or basically the route instance. And now this will eject the method, so we'll do post. So here we'll have a add, and here I'm going to pass the add address. Alright, then we will be having get, or basically to fetch all the addresses. So we'll do get, and here we need to pass like the ID or user ID. So based on user ID we are going to fetch it, right? So we'll do fetch all address. Then we will be having a delete, so router.delete. So for delete, what we need to do, we will be deleting based on, so we'll do delete, so we'll be getting the user ID based on user ID and also based on the address ID. If you want, you can directly delete it using address ID also, but that is fine. But we are going to do this on, it will be much more cleaner. Like we'll first find the user and then find the address for that user, and based on that we are going to delete. And then next we will be having a router.put. So this will be to edit, right? So for edit also we are going to do update, and then we are going to do user ID, and then we are going to do using address ID, and here also we are going to do edit address, and then we are going to export it. So exports, and we'll export the router. So basic setup is done. So now we need to go to a server, and again we need to import it, correct? So we'll copy this and we'll make this on a SOP address router, because we are doing in the shopping view, right? So we'll do SOP/address route, and then we are going to copy this and we'll do this one as, instead of cart we'll do address, and this will be our SOP address router. Save it, and this is done. Now we have completed all the very basic thing. So now we need to go to our controllers and we can close all of this. So first thing what we need, so we need to import our address model, correct? So we'll do const address, and this will be require. So here we need to go to our models, we need to go to address. So first thing what we need to check, see what are the things we are going to receive, right? So we'll receive user ID, address, city, pin code, phone, and notes. So those things we need to get. So we'll get it one by one. So we'll do user ID, address, city, pin code, we need phone, and also we need notes. So these we are going to receive from request.body, and if any of this is missing, so we are going to return some invalid data, like if user ID is not present, or if not equal to address, or not equal to city, or not equal to pin code, or not equal to phone, or not equal to notes. Although we are keeping notes optional, but I think it will be better. Say notes is like something like the instruction, right? Usually in general website what we'll do in e-commerce, will give some kind of notes that where is your particular address. So this is similar like that. So here we are going to do status, and we'll do a 400, and we'll do JSON, and I'm going to return success will be false, and message will do invalid data provided. Okay, once this is done, then we are going to create our newly created address. So we'll do newly created address, which will be new address. So address is our model basically, and here we are going to pass all of these, right? So we'll pass the user ID, we'll pass the address, pass city, we'll pass pin code, we'll pass notes, and what else? We are also having phone. And then what we need to do, so we'll just save this, right? So newly created address dot save. So here we are going to return status 201.json, and this will be success is now true. And what we are going to do, we are going to return the data. Data will be our newly created address. Now based on this we are going to understand that whether it is saved successfully or not, but it's better to return this data also, because there are multiple ways you'll be able to do this part also you have checked, right? So this is about the add address. Now then we are having the fetch address. So here, as I already told you, that we are going to fetch by the user ID, correct? So first we need to get it the user ID. So we'll do user ID, and from where we'll be getting, so we'll be getting from the params. This part also you have done multiple times. And if user ID is not present, so you're going to return that user ID is required, and this all we can remove. So return like user ID is required. Okay, and then we are going to find our address. So we'll do const address, and we'll do await, we'll do address dot find. So based on the user ID we are going to find it, right? And here then what we'll do, so again we can also return like, but you can also check it like if the address length is 0, so we'll return like no address found, but that also we can manage in our front end. Like if there is no address, we'll show no address found, but here we can simply return these addresses. So we'll do JSON and we'll do success will be true, and in the data we are going to pass this address. So let's make this on address list. Okay, so this is about the fetch all addresses. If till this part you are continuously doing this video, I know this all will be now piece of cake, because this will be pretty simple for you. Okay, so that is the reason I mentioned that you need to practice. Edit address, again we are going to find based on two things, user ID and address ID. So we need two things here, right? So we'll do const, and what we are going to do, so we'll be doing user ID. Now what exactly address ID? Address ID is, see, whenever you will be adding a new address ID, there will be a unique identifier will be created by MongoDB, so that will be your address ID. Okay, so we'll do address ID. So this will be received from request.params, and then again we are going to check it like this. So we'll copy this. So if not equal to user ID or not equal to address ID. Okay, so we are going to return user ID and address ID is required. User and address ID is required. All right, now after this what we are going to do, simply do const address, and this will be await. So here we are going to do address dot find one and update, find one and update. Okay, so here we are going to find it based on this ID, right? So this ID will be what? This will be our address ID, correct? Sorry, not address, this will be our address ID. And also here we are going to pass the user ID, because we also need to find based on user ID. Once this is done, then we are going to get our, we need to basically get our updated form data. So how we are going to get it? So we'll be getting from our, so we'll get our form data from body. So we'll do request.body, and this form data will be our updated data. So here after we will update this one, we are going to pass this form data, right? And also we'll do a new property here. So we'll do new will be true. Okay, so this will automatically find the address, it will update it with the, sorry, it will update with the latest data, and then it will return you the updated address. Okay, now here we need to check one thing, that if we didn't find this address, then we need to basically return that address cannot be found. So here we'll return res.status 404, and we'll do JSON, and we'll do success will be false, and message will be address not found. And once this is done, then we are going to return it. So we'll do res.status, so we'll do 200.json, so we'll do success will be true, and data will be this address. All right, I think this is done. Now next we are having the delete. Again for delete also it will be exactly same. Okay, there is not at all difference. So what first thing, again we are going to receive this user ID and address ID. So we'll copy this and we'll paste it here. So again we need to check that if user ID and address ID is not present, so we are going to return this is required, and after this we are going to delete the address. So we'll do const address, so we'll do await. Here we need to do address, and now we need to do find one and delete. So find one and delete, and here you need to again pass ID, which will be your address ID. So based on the address ID we are going to delete, and also you need to pass the user ID here. So we'll pass the user ID. Okay, and again we are going to do that if the address is not found, so return address not found. So after this, and once this is done, now this is successful, so return a status of 200.json. so what we can do, we can return success is true, and now we'll return a message like address deleted successfully. And I think all the 4 is done. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to create our async things. So now let's go to our API side. First we'll complete everything and then we are going to start working on the UI part. So let's go to store and then SOP, and here I'm going to create address slice. Let's create index.js. So first we're going to import from our Redux toolkit. So we need create slice, and also we need the create async thunk. Now I'm going to take one initial state here. So here we are going to do is loading, same as usual, which will be false, and we'll do a address list, which will be empty array. Okay, so this will be our initial state. Now what we're going to do, we'll create const and we'll do address slice, and this will be create slice. So name will give this one as address, and we'll pass the initial state, and then we're going to pass the reducers. So reducer will keep empty, but we need extra reducers because we need to create our async thunks. Okay, so now what are the things that we need? So we need to create again, once again it is the same process. So the reason why I'm repeating all of this, you need to practice, right? You don't, if you only watch this video, it's not going to help you. So you need to practice all of this multiple times. So we're going to create again 4 slices. One will be add, fetch, edit and delete, and try to implement by your own. Okay, based on the route configuration that we have done in the backend, you need to pass all the information that is required. So we'll start with our first, we'll do export const, and we'll do add new address. So here we have in create async thunk, and this will be /addresses / add new address, right? This will be async. So what you'll receive, you receive the form data, the address data from our front end. And here what we're going to do, const response will be await axios.post, and let's copy the URL from somewhere. So we have API/SOP, right? And then after this we have address. So we need to open this route also. Let's open this one. So you have address, and then what is the main? So address, and then we have add. So the same we need to use. So localhost 5000 API/SOP/address/add, right? And here we need to pass the form data. Okay, that's it. And then we are going to return response.data. So this will be to add a new address. Now let's copy this and paste it 4 times, 3 and 4. So this will be fetch all addresses. So this will be identifier will change. This fetch all address, we need the user ID, correct? And then this will be get, and here we need to, I believe we need to do this on get, and then we need to pass the user ID. Let me check once. So you have get and then user ID, right? So now we no need to pass any form data here, and this will be get. That's it. Now after this we need to do edit address, edit a address. Well, let's keep it like this. Okay, so we'll do edit address. So this will be a put. So for editing we need quite a few things. So we need the user ID, right? We need the address ID, and also we need the form data. So here we will again change this one to template literals, and then we will have our update. So we'll do /update, and / we are going to pass the user ID, / we are going to pass the address ID, right? And the rest form data will be our updated form data. and this is done. And then we'll be having delete address. So this will be delete address, access.delete, and for deleting also we are going to receive both user ID and address ID. Okay, so let's do this on delete. And for delete I think we have user ID and address ID. Okay, so we'll do user ID and slash will do address ID, and no need to pass this form data. Alright, so now we have created our 4 async things. So let's quickly create our builders. So do builder dot add case. So this will be add new address dot pending. So this will be our state, and here what we'll do state dot is loading will be true. Now let's copy this. So this will be fulfilled, this will be false, and state dot address list will be, so we need to get the action right here. So we'll do action dot payload dot data, because we are getting the data here, and this will be rejected. So rejected, this will be false, and state dot address list will be empty array. Okay, so I think this will be fine. Now next what we are going to do for like getting the data, we need to do it. So for fetching also we need to do it, right? So let's copy this and then paste it here. So we will do fetch all addresses dot pending, and this will be fetch all addresses dot fulfilled, and here this will be fetch all addresses dot rejected. These two. Now one more thing is that because we will be basically checking that whether the success is true or not, and based on that we are going to fetch the list of addresses again. So it's actually not mandatory that you need to add builder for these two also. So for example delete and everything, right? The reason is because once we delete address, right, what we are going to do, we will be fetching the list of data once again. So we no need to create those two. If you want you can create it, but it's absolutely not required. Okay, if there are two scenarios. So see, whenever you will do, say when you add a new address, correct, and once the adding is successful, you need to fetch the updated addresses, right? So there are two ways to do that. The first is once you'll save the address, then call the fetching API again. So that is one way. The second way is instead of calling the fetch API, whatever data that you are getting, so for example this address list, you can update your state, because next time when user will refresh the page, anyway they will be getting the updated data from this fetching API, correct? I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say. So that is the reason when we'll do edit and delete, right, for now what we're going to do, instead of doing manually state update, we are going to fetch this API here. Okay, so now what we'll do, simply I'll show you what exactly I'm telling. For your homework, what you can do, you can create this edit and delete cases also here, but now I'm going to just do export default add new addresses dot reducer. No, not add new address, this will be address slice dot reducer. So now let's go to our store and let's copy and paste it. So we'll do swap address slice. So this will be address slice, and we'll do swap address, which will be swap address slice. I think this is done. So let's log in. Okay, we are getting this, but now we need to start working on the UI side. Okay, so UI in the sense, first we'll create the basic structure, and then we are going to implement our account functionality, because we already have implemented the reducers and everything, right? So we just need to connect with our front end. So let's do that in the next part. All right, so let's start working on the address UI, right? So we'll go to shop, not here, pages, shopping view, and then account, right? And let's close everything else. So first I'll remove this part from here, and let's return here div. We'll do class name flex column, and here I'm going to take one more div, which will be class name. This will be relative, we'll do height of 300 px, width full, let's make this on 350, and we'll do overflow hidden. Now inside this I'm going to use the image that I already added, so let me just quickly import it. So to import image, we'll do account image from, so you need to go to assets and then account. So here we are going to use the source, which will be our account image. Okay, and here what else, we'll add a class name. So class name will do height as full, width as full, we'll do object cover, and we'll do object center. Okay, let's save it and let's see first how this is looking, and then based on that, yeah, I think this is looking good. If I make this on 300, how it's looking? Yeah, I think this is fine. Now after this, right, what we are going to do, we can also add some more property, like something like, if I add a width here, so let's add 1600, and height I will add 300, and we'll add some style here. Sorry, let's add some style that will add a aspect ratio of 1600 divided by 300, and we'll do object fit as cover. Okay, so I think this is fine. Now I think this part is absolutely not required if I save it, because I think we already have given in this part, right? So height is there, object cover, I think this is not required. Okay, now what we are going to do, right, we need to basically add one more component here. So let me go to the components. We need tabs component here. So let's copy this. So we'll go to cd client and paste it here. So after this, we'll take one div. Let's give a class name. So we'll do container. We'll do mx of auto. We'll do grid columns of 1, gap of 8, and py of 8. Inside this, we'll take one more div. We'll do a class name. We'll do flex column. We'll do rounded large. We'll do border, bg background, padding of 6, and shadow sm. Inside this, we are going to use our tabs component that we have just now installed, right? So we'll have two tabs. So first one will give a default value here, which will be orders. Okay, so default value means which one will be opening for the first time on page load. Here we'll be having the tabs list, and here we need to add our tabs trigger. So we will add a value property here, which will be orders for this one, and here we'll add orders, and we'll copy this and paste it here, and this will be our address. Okay, and after this you need to add tabs content. So here again you need to pass the value property. So for this one, this will be orders, and let's copy and paste it, and this will be address, right? So now whatever you will be adding here, this will be able to see if I add some random value, right? Save it, refresh this page. Okay, I think it's loading. Let's wait for some time. All right, so you can see that we're getting this, right? So this is fine. So now we need to create two components. One will be for orders and one will be for address. So let's go here inside our components, shopping view, and then I'll create here orders.jsx, and I'm going to create one more, which will be not account. We'll give this one as, let's give this on address. So we'll give address dot jsx, right? So now let's create this. So we'll do address let's copy this and let's paste it here. So this will be orders, and now we are going to import it here. So we are going to import the orders, and here I'm going to import the address. Okay, so this is done. So now the first thing we need to create our address view. So how this will work, right? So in the address view we'll be having a form, simple form, and then we'll be having the list of address, and also we'll give permission user to add a maximum 3 addresses. Okay, now it's up to you, you can add some different features also, but for now I'm going to give this user to add only maximum 3 addresses. So here what I've done, right, again I already created some address form control. So you can see that a level which is address, then city, pin code, phone, and notes. Okay, so now I'm going to copy this, and then we'll go to our config. Now again I'll share everything in code, you'll be able to get it from there. If you I'm pretty sure you'll also not be able to write these things are very repetitive. So this will be our address form controls, and then go to our address page, and here we are going to first create our structure. So here we are going to return a card component, and this place I'm going to keep a placeholder. So here I'm going to render the address list, okay, here, and after this we will be having a card header. So here I'm going to render a card title, and I'll do add new address. All right, after this we are going to take a card content, and what we need to do, we'll give us some spacing here. So we'll do class name, we'll do space y of 4, we'll make this on 3. So we need to render our common form, you remember, and for this one also we need to manage some kind of addresses here. So what we'll do, we'll take some form data, and we'll do set form data, and this will be use state of initial form data, right? So let's make initial address form data. So we'll create this. So what we're going to do, we'll take const initial address form data. So this will be address will be empty, city will be empty, phone will be empty, pin code and everything else will be empty, and also notes will be empty. That's it. So now what we're going to do, simply pass this. So what we need to pass, we need to pass form controls, which will be our address form controls that we have added here, this part. Then we need to pass the form data, which will be our form data. We need to pass the set form data, which will be set form data. We need to pass a button text, which I'll do add, and also need to pass a on submit, which I'll do handle manage address. Copy this and create this function here, and this will be a, we'll take event and we'll do event dot prevent default. Save it. See, we don't have to do anything, like it's automatically created everything. This is the advantage. Now this is done. So now we have order and addresses. So we'll add a new address, we need to call the API, and then we need to fetch it, and then based on that we are going to render. So to render this one, right, what we are going to do, we'll create one more component here, which will be our address card. So we'll do address card dot JSX. We'll keep this one clean so that we don't have many code in one single component, address card. And here we are going to return some div. So let's create this component. This will be very simple. Not div, will return some card, will show some kind of card here. And here we're going to do card header, right? I think it's not required. Let's only render the card content. So we'll give a class name. So here this will be grid and gap of 4, and inside this we're going to take one more div. And here what we're going to do, right, let's render. I think we can render only the label part, so we'll do label and we'll render the this address will receive, so we'll render address dot address because we'll be having the address info, right? So let's make this on address info. Okay, let's copy this and paste it some 3-4 times. This will be city, then this will be our pin code, then this will be what else we are having, phone, and then we are having the notes, right? And we'll keep this on simple. So this is what our address card will be. All right, now we will go to our address and we'll handle some of the things. So first thing we are going to do, right, so here we'll handle like is form valid or not. So we'll do is form valid. So here we're going to return, I think this part also you have done, that object dot keys of form data dot map key. So here we are going to do form data of key, if this is not equal to empty, dot every item has to be true. Okay, so if this form is not valid, so we're going to check is button disable, which will be if this form is not valid, right? So if I save it, see, it is now disabled, right? We will need to add all of this, then only it will work. Now you can also make this on trim, you can also trim this like dot trim, then also it will work. Like now this will not work, so you need to give some value. Awesome, now everything else is done, so we just need to call the API, and then we need to basically call API in the sense means whatever slices that we have created, correct? So those we are going to call. So here I think let's go to SOP and address slice. So this edit address, delete, fetch and add. So 4 slices you are going to call, not 4 slices, sorry, the async thunk, and then we are going to render the list of addresses. Once this part is completed, right, then we are going to start working on the checkout page. Okay, so let's do this in the next part. Alright, so let's start integrating with our front end and back end. So here what are you going to do, right? So let's go to our handle manage address. So first thing we need, so we need our dispatch, which will be use dispatch, and let me close this. So first we think what are the things that we need, right? So we need form data. Now we also need to pass the user ID. So if I go to the model, right, so let's go to the model once. So we have our address model, so you can see that we also have user ID that we need to pass. So to get the user ID, we are going to get it from our store. So we'll do user, which will be use selector state, so we'll do state dot auth. So now here simply we'll do dispatch, so we'll do dispatch, we'll do add new address, and here we need to pass the form data as well as we need to pass the user ID, which will be user dot ID, right, because this is the ID that we're giving, and dot then now we are going to simply log this data, and let's see what is happening here, right? So now let's open our console. Let's go to network first, and I'll give some address like USA, give some random value, okay, phone number I'll give, some notes. Now let's click on add, it's 200, and you can see that it's added successfully. Awesome. So now simply we'll do if data dot payload dot success, this is true. So what we're going to do, right, so we need to make one more change that I'm thinking that when we are doing this full feed, right, because we are actually fetching the list of address again, we no need to do this state dot address list here, we can remove this. Okay, same thing for here. So we are only managing in our fetch address, save it, And now here we need to first do a dispatch, and we'll do fetch all addresses. And here what we need to pass, so if I go to this fetch all address, let's go there. So we need the user ID, so we'll pass the user dot id, right? We also need to make the set form data, which will be initial address form data. Now we need to check whether we are getting this or not, right? So we'll copy this and we'll get the address list, correct? And this will get from shop address. So let's copy and see what you're getting. So the address list, save it. So let's see what you're getting in the address list. Go here. Okay, we are getting empty, but this part we need to check why we are getting empty. Oh, okay, I got it now. Why we are getting empty? Because we need to fetch it on page load also, correct? So that is the reason. So we'll do a dispatch, and we'll simply do a dispatch of fetch all addresses, and we'll pass the user.id. Now this will work. Let's go to console. Address list is 1. Awesome job. That's it. And this is done, right? We are getting updated and everything. So whatever things that we need to add, that we can add it here. And now the first thing, we are going to render it, the address list here, correct? So what we can do, right, simply, so let's do one thing before. Where is the place that we have added this? Okay, so let me just remove this part from here, and we'll give a class name. So we'll do margin bottom of 5, padding of 3. We'll do grid columns of 1. For SM we'll do grid columns of 2. For MD we'll do grid columns of 3, right? And for, I think, let's see how this is looking. Based on that we'll do, and we'll do gap of 2. And here we are going to check if this address list and an address list dot length greater than 0. So we're going to map it. So we'll do address item, or let's give something different, single address item, and we're going to call the address card, and we need to pass the address info, which will be single address item, right? And if there is nothing, we'll just render null. So let's save it. Let's see what you're getting. Okay, we are getting this one, but let's add some padding here. So padding of 4. Let's see how this is looking. Okay, also one interesting, not interesting, like thing what we can do, we can add this thing here. So we'll do city, and we'll do pin code, we'll do phone, and we'll do notes. That's it, right? And I think this is done. So now let's see if we have added. So we'll do new address added, city I'll do USA or something, pin code I'll give some random value, phone number also I'll give some random value, notes I'll give this. Let's add. Awesome. That's it. Now what we need to do, we need to add 2 things. So we'll add a card footer, correct? And we need a button which will be to edit, and we need one more button which will be to delete. Let's save it and let's see how this is looking. So let's make this one class name. We'll do this one as flex, justify between edit and delete, and we'll keep this one simple, right? We no need to make those things. And for this card footer we'll do padding of 0, but we'll do padding top of 1, padding bottom of 1. Let's see how this is looking. No, I think we need to, okay, let's do one thing. Let's give a padding of 1. Okay, let's give padding of 2. We'll give 3. Yeah, padding of 3. I think this is fine. Awesome. So now we need to start working on the edit and delete. First let's implement the delete functionality because it will be easy. So here what we will receive, we'll receive a on click, and this will be handle delete address, and we'll pass the address info, and this also we're going to receive here, and we'll receive one more which will be handle edit. So let's copy this and we're going to paste it here, and this will be handle edit. Okay, so these two we are going to create here. So first one will be our function handle edit. Now one more thing what I'm thinking, let's do one thing, let's manage this edit and this edit and add in one method only. Okay, so we are going to I'm going to show you that how we are going to do that. So first I'll create handle delete one, so we'll remove this handle edit for now. First let's concentrate on this delete part. So we'll remove this, and then I'm going to create handle delete address, and we'll do get current address. So what we need to do, so if we delete, right, when we are deleting we are passing this user ID and the address ID, so both we need to pass. So how we are going to get the address ID, let's log this here, then you'll be able to understand. Get current address, right? Let's save it, let's open console and then click on delete. Handle delete is not a function, we haven't passed it here, sorry. We need to pass handle delete address, which will be handle delete address. So delete, so getting this ID, right, this is our ID, this is the address ID, this we need. So we'll simply do here, very simple, that will do dispatch and we'll do delete address, and we'll pass the user ID, which will be user.id, and address ID, which will be your get current address.id. Okay, now once this is done, again I know you all already know the process, so if this data.payload.success, if this is true, so we're going to do dispatch and then fetch all address. So we're going to fetch all the addresses. So this is the part I was talking about, that if you're fetching every time, then you don't need to do any kind of extra thing. So save it. Now let's see what is happening. Let's go to our network tab, let's delete this one, deleted, awesome, and this is working fine. Now let's add one more address, some random value, and let's add, it's added, right? Awesome. So now this part is done. Now next thing we need to start working on the edit. For edit, what I will do, right, I will take one more state which will store the current edited ID, and I think this part we've already done previously. So do current edited ID, current edited ID is fine, and then we'll do set current edited ID, which will be use state of null, and here we are going to pass this set current edited ID, which will be the set current edited ID, and we are going to also pass the set form data, which will be your set form data. Now two ways we can do that. I think okay, let's do one different way. Okay, sorry again, I'll do a different way. I think that will be better. Instead of passing both, right, what I'll do, I'll pass a handle edit address only. Previously what we were doing, so I'll do handle edit address. What we'll do, right, copy this and let's go here, and then we are going to again call it from here. So we'll do on click and we'll call this handle edit address and we'll pass the address info. So this is the first step. Now we will create this, so we'll do function handle edit get current address. So here we are going to do like set current edited ID, which will be get current address.id. I hope you are getting. So this whenever I'll click on this edit, that time I need to save the current edited ID, and also I need to fill this form. So to fill this form, what we can do, simply we'll do set form data, and here we need to pass the exact form data, and what we can do, simply get this, I'll copy this, and this will be get current address.address. So the existing data I am just doing, this will be phone, this will be pin code, and this will be notes. So this will be notes, this will be pin code, this will be city, and this will be phone. Let's save it. Now let's see what is happening. If I click on edit, right, see If we click on edit this one, see this changing, right? Value is changing. Also when this will be edit, I'll do this on edit new edit address. I'll change this one to edit. This also we need to do, and this I'm pretty sure we'll be able to do it very easily, right? So we'll simply check if this current, we'll check if this current edited ID is not equal to null. So we'll do edit address, or we'll do add new address. Okay, so this is the first step, and again once again I'll copy this and then I'll pass it here, that if this is edit, we'll do edit, or else we'll do add. So now this will be edit. This is done. Now when we'll edit this one, what do we need to do? We need to check it here. This part also we've done, so we'll check it here, that when we are editing, so if this current edited ID is not equal to null, so we need to dispatch the edit action. So we'll do dispatch and we'll do edit a address, correct, and see what are the things that we are passing. We're passing three things: user ID, address ID, and form data. So we'll pass the user ID, which will be our user.id, address ID, this will be our current edited ID, correct, and form data will be our form data. Dot then, so we'll get the data, and we'll see if this data dot payload dot success, if this is true. So quite a few things we need to do. First we need to get the updated addresses, so dispatch fetch all address. We'll do set current edited ID as null, and we'll do set form data as initial form data, correct, or else we are going to do this on add. So we have both edit and delete. So first we are checking if this is not null, we'll dispatch this action. If this is success, we'll get the list of address again updated with the updated data, then current edited ID null, and set form data will be this. Now let's see. Now I'm going to refresh this page. Let's go to address and let's click on edit. I'm going to make this one to India, and I'll do this on India. Let's try to edit. We're getting some error, right? Okay, it's not calling anything, but why is that? Okay, what is the problem? It's not triggering the API call only, right? Okay, let's see here. We are checking not null, edit address. This will be put, okay? That is the reason. Okay, now let's see. Once refresh this. Now let's go to address, and I'm going to edit this. Let's make this one to India, and then I'm going to edit this one. We are getting undefined. Okay, oh sorry. Okay, once again we have mistake, because we need to pass the user.id. okay, so that is the reason. So now let's refresh this once again. So we'll go to address. Now this will be automatically getting changed, but if I edit this, let's do this on to Nepal, and then I'm going to do edit. Now this is getting changed, this is also getting resetted. Also we can do one more thing, and that is, let's take a toast. So we'll do toast, which will be use toast, and just like we have done, so here also you can show like toast, title like address updated successfully. Okay, and let's copy this, and we'll do it here, address added successfully. Also one more thing we need to do, and that is, yes, one more thing we need to do, and that is here, right? We'll check if this address list dot length, this length greater than 3. So we'll return a toast that title will be you can add max 3 addresses. Okay, and then variant I'm going to give this one as destructive. And then also we need to return from here, so we'll do return. Okay, now let's see once what is happening, whatever things we have done. Refresh this, go here, now add one more address. Okay, and now I'm going to add it, address added successfully. Edit this to again once again India. I'll do city Bangalore, and now edit, address updated successfully. This is updated. And now what will happen if you try to add more, right? And then this, see what will happen if I add. Oh, something is going wrong here. Address length is greater than 3 we've done. That is the mistake we've done. We need to do greater than or equal to. So okay, this will be greater than or equal to 3, right? So now I think this would work. Let's add one more. Sorry, paste, 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 and paste. See, also we'll reset this form, right? So we'll do set form data as initial form data, initial address form data, and when we are deleting, that time also we'll add some toast, that address deleted successfully. That's it. So now if I go back, right, and refresh this, so we'll do, let's say, delete, deleted successfully, and add one more. So here and this added, but if you try to add one more time, see, awesome, right? Now I'll do edit and we'll do maple edited. Oh, this time we need to do, awesome, this is a very interesting thing, right? Yes, so here we need to check if this is greater than or equal to 3, and we need to check if this current edited ID is not if this is equal to null. Okay, so if this current edited ID is equal to null, then only we'll be checking this, or else, because or else you can't like edit also. So this is the reason, right? So now this is a very good point that I've noticed, or else I'll miss this. So now we'll be able to edit this at least. See, address updated successfully, but you'll not be able to add it. So if I try to add, right, so now this time the edited ID is null, so we'll add. See, now you're getting mad, you can add max 3 address, but edit, you can do edit. Yes, so now this part is completed, so we can add only 3 addresses. Next thing what we need to do, first let's go to our cart page once. We need to do one more thing, and that is we have our cart wrapper, and here we are having the checkout, right? On click of this, we need to go to the checkout page. So we'll go to the checkout page. So we have navigate, so we'll go to /shop/checkout, and here we need to take the navigate. So we'll do const navigate will be our use navigate. Okay, so if I click here and let's say go to the checkout, so it's going to the checkout page. Okay, so now this part is done. Next thing, we will start working on the checkout page UI, and after that we'll start working on, see, first what I'm thinking, right, we'll do one more thing, and that is first I'm going to complete the orders UI page, orders UI, and then we are going to open an order details model. Those part we are going to implement. The reason is because for this order page, right, the view will be same as the shopping and the admin. Okay, sorry if you are getting any noise. So for this we will be having like same view for both shopping and admin view. The only difference is for the admin view we are going to render a drop down kind of thing that admin will be able to update the order status. So that will be the only difference. Okay, so this part we are going to create, so two things we'll create the checkout page UI and the orders page UI, and after that we'll start working on the PayPal, or basically creating the order. So let's do this in the next part. Alright everyone, so first we are going to create the checkout layout. Okay, so let's go to our pages, checkout. Alright, so let's go to the checkout page first. Now one more thing what we need to do, right? Okay, let's do one thing. We'll go to our components and then let's go to header, and here we are having this set open cart set component, and I believe we are having this user cart wrapper, right? So here we are having this button, this navigate to checkout. So what we'll do, right, so we'll pass the set open cart set as a prof here that will be receiving. So once we'll navigate, right, we will basically close this. So we'll navigate and then we'll do set open cart set will be false. So let's say if I go to home and let's open and click here, so again the checkout page. Awesome. So now we are going to start working on the checkout.